of resignation written by Madame Cecilia Dapa is signed as Cecilia Abena Dapa Miss. Yeah, Cecilia Abena Dapa Miss, and this is supposed to be what do you call it? A married person. I don't know.
But it's not everybody who carries their.
I didn't say,
their
but there's
names.
Miss in bracket.
Yeah.
So you are Miss.
Yes,
but you are married.
a lot of married.
MISS.
It's the same thing. It's not the same thing.
Miss. If it's MS with a dot, it could be for Mrs. or MIS.
No, this one is not with a dot. It's
No, I mean it
MS.
doesn't matter. Some people write the doctor with the dot, others Mister with the dot.
So I want to understand.
But if you write MS,
educate me.
if you write MS, it means the person doesn't necessarily want you to know her status. Yes. So she could be single or married. But some married people still carry the Miss.
Right.
Like Miss Ivaluku of Blessed Memory.
That's right.
She was married, but she kept her maiden
Right.
her maiden name. Is it?
Right.
That's
Yes.
Right.
It's not everybody who
But
carries.
she
their
was not
matrimonial
addressing
name.
herself as Miss Ivaloko. She was addressing herself as Ivaloko.
Oh, it doesn't matter. No, she didn't keep the Mrs.
Yes, I
But
know.
So once,
I know. I could say your point is not keeping.
So once
the name.
you don't carry your husband's name, you cannot be addressed as Mrs.
Okay, that's that. Mrs.
Yeah.
means wife of.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That's the
So she doesn't have to add the Miss.
So, but this is a matter. If you read the charge sheet, it says that of my husband, right?
So how she addresses herself doesn't matter.
So some small
in respect
education
of her
on Miss
marital status.
versus Miss. I actually use MS because I am keeping it low key as to whether or not I am an MISS
Please, we
or
beg you,
MRS.
you are not married.
I'm not
But
married.
very soon, all those things will not matter because the way the marriages are going there. Against mustache against mustache.
Adam and Steve.
Oh, come on, guys. Well, you should use Miss, MISS, when addressing girls and young and married women.
Okay.
You use MS, which Madam Cecilia Dapa used when you are unsure of a woman's marital status or if she's unmarried but prefers to be addressed with MS. MS is neutral.
Okay.
So MS
but
is...
this one is married. So
She's married.
If you look at the definition,
Yes, but she chooses
if
to
you
use...
are not that number one, we are not sure.
Yes.
If we are not sure.
Yes.
All right, that she's married or not married. That's the first point. Per what is the charge sheet before the court? There's indication that the suits of her husband, 6 or so, the suits of her husband were stolen.
Yeah.
So you cannot say you are not married and yet you have suits, husband suits, which
But
are
she didn't say she's not married.
Oh, slow down. I'm just saying you are not getting my point. I'm saying that Miss, what you read, Helen, read it again.
Okay. So there's
For
so
MS,
many
for
things. For
MS.
MS. You should use MS when unsure of a woman's marital status or if she is unmarried and prefers to be addressed with a marital status neutral title. And a marital status neutral title is MS.
Beautiful. So if you are unsure, one, or if she's unmarried, right, and then that marital status neutral. And I'm saying that per the charge sheet we have, there are 6 suits supposed to be belonging to her husband. A certain Mr. Osei, is that Osei Tutu or some Osei Kufo,
Yes.
right? And so she's married. Now the question that is on, and I'm asking this from social media,
Sure.
that if you're married, nobody's saying use Mrs. Cecilia Abena Osei Kufo, but to the extent that you write MS, means that you're trying to be neutral as to whether you are married or not married, but you don't want people to know. According to the charge sheet, now we know you are married per your own testimony. So where from the MS? That's the question I'm asking. Maybe you
It's an angle.
Maybe you can help me now.
You see, my understanding is that all this while we've known her as Abena Dapa, and the husband we are learning is Osekufo. But because she hasn't used the Osekufo, she's saying that she's Miss Cecilia Abena Dapa, which indicates that you and I sitting here should know that she's married, but she doesn't want to carry the Mrs.
No, that one has been,
established.
Mrs. means wife of.
Yes.
The definition of MS is that you are neutral. Either you are unmarried or you are neutral. You don't want people to know if you are married or not.
Yes.
I'm saying that in this particular matter, the charge sheet says that she's married.
Yes, but
and that there are 6 suits belonging to the woman, the man, which have been stolen. So I'm asking here for education.
Yes.
Somebody who is married, and then that MS is there.
It's because of the name she carries. She has never carried Osei
No, I didn't say. If you carry Osei Kufuor,
It
then
will be
you
Mrs.
you write MRS.
Yes. So the
But you
MS just justifies the maiden name she carries.
That's
it.
what that you are not married, because the
No.
definition. Read the definition again, please.
So
I'm interested in this one.
when do we use MS?
Yes.
You should use MS
Let's
when
listen, let's
unsure
listen.
of a woman's marital status or if she is unmarried and prefers to be addressed with a marital status neutral title.
Okay.
Mrs. You should use Mrs. when addressing a married
So
woman.
number one, when you are unsure that she's married, and then also when the person is unmarried, right, and then decides to be neutral in terms of letting
That's
people
when
address him. Yes,
said you are addressing her.
That's right.
But when she's addressing herself,
no, there are two
The
legs.
definition says
there are
what?
two
When you are
legs.
addressing her.
There are two legs.
When you are addressing her.
yes, and
Yes.
you are
Yes,
unsure.
and this suggests
And you
that
want to
some
remain
women
neutral.
will want to use a marital neutral title.
Exactly.
And you are at liberty to
do
use
that.
a marital.
Fanta-
I use MS.
Fantastic.
It's marital neutral. You don't know whether I'm Miss or
Fantastic.
Mrs. And that's
Fantastic.
my prerogative.
Fantastic.
Yes.
But in this case, she's married.
Yes.
As far as we know. That's what I'm asking.
And I'm saying that the only justification that I see in this matter is that she wants to justify why the name Abunadapa. Because she hasn't used, if she had used, like you said earlier, if she had used Osei Kufuor, wouldn't have
That
had
would
this
be
debate.
Ezekufor is
Uh-huh.
the Mrs. would
Yes.
be wife of.
Yes, so now telling Ghanaians that I'm Abunadapa, that's why I'm Miss. So married and single are inside there, but that title is also qualified to use for my name Abunadapa. Because if it's Mrs. Abunadapa, then people think that the husband is
It's
Dapa.
Abunadapa, yes.
But the Miss tells us that she has her maiden name as Abunadapa, but she's married because the MS serves both
Yes.
statuses.
That's
Is that it?
right.
Or, yes.
You are right.
The MS serves
You are right.
single, the maiden name,
Right.
and then married as in married
but
as in
wants,
status.
but wants to be neutral.
Yes. Title.
Is that the thing?
Yeah.
Is that what you read?
Johnny, from what I'm
that
inferring
what you
from the
read?
tangent you are taking
Is that
us
what you
on.
read?
You see, the conversation is important for me because this conversation, for those who are listening to it, is important because when the matter broke, questions came up. Was the money for the husband,
Right.
or the money was for herself?
Right.
So we trying to establish the role of the husband in all this one is
Me, it
important,
just caught
and that's
my-
why
it just caught my attention on the letter that she wrote to resign. When I saw Cecilia Abunadapa into bracket MS,
Yeah.
you know, it caught my attention because after reading the charge sheet, I got to know that she's not single. There's a husband there. 6 suits belonging to the husbands were taken away. If you listen to the people who are trying to bring up explanations as to what could have happened, they say, well, it could be money belonging to a husband.
Exactly.
It could be money from a joint business. It could be money from funeral donations. It could be money belonging to, an MCE
I
said
saw that one.
An MCE.
Said it's in Swaman.
An MCE, Wilkinson, he said that.
who died.
Yeah, I said two relatives of the woman died. And then another said, oh, she comes from a wealthy family. So it's possible, all of these conversations. Well, we'll come to that one because $1 million at home is a lot of cash. But that is not my focus. My focus is that now we know she's married. And I'm trying to understand the MS. You are giving me some education about that.
That's right.
Does that settle the dust?
It does. It will certainly do that. I think for the purposes of analysis, it's important to establish that at this point in time, she will be looking to also let us know what belongs to the husband and what belongs to her. And again, because she's using her maiden name, the Dapa is the maiden name, I believe.
Yes.
So she opts for Miss. And usually, ladies of a certain age, older, will not opt for MISS. In some jurisdictions,
Yes.
after 18 years of age,
put
an
the
unmarried
MS.
woman will have, thank you, MS. So I think it's just for the purposes of the fact that she uses Dapa still, and she's an older lady, so she's using MS. I think that's what it is. But for those who want to maybe analyze it with deeper lens,
I mean,
you know,
people
for-
also have
for-
other lenses
yes.
that she was trying to
extricate the self,
for the
you
husband
know.
issue. There's a husband issue there, but she couldn't have also written Abunadapa. Somebody would just sign off Abunadapa.
Yes.
That's
Without
right.
any title. Or,
Yes.
But if she had also put Madam Abunadapa, that would have been weird. And she couldn't have put Mrs. Abunadapa because
Yes,
she's not
she's
Mrs.
not
Abunadapa.
Mrs.
So she's Miss Abunadapa,
Okay.
MS dot.
Okay, MS dot.
I know some people are thinking.
It's okay. It's okay.
And so on and so forth.
It's
but-
okay. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. So at least per the charge sheet, we know that the property the monies, 1,300,000, all of that belongs to her. If you read the charge, it says belonging to, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So those making the argument that perhaps it's money belonging to her husband, I'm not sure that
that one officially that's not.
Yes, officially, what's before the court?
And that would be another offense, if you like, if she went to state that the money belonging to Mr. Oseku, former husband, because you declared that would be a lot of offenses can start coming out from there.
The charge sheet,
deceit of public officer, trying to conceal whatever, all those things will come up. So I'm believing her that the money or the monies, because they are in different currencies, belong to Cecilia Abena Dapa, Miss. Yeah, that's the money.
But can you use the charge sheet to determine ownership?
That's a very interesting question. That's why I said if it is not so,
right,
then there will be deceit of public officer who is the police, because you went to a police station to make a statement, or if you like file a complaint that your money has been stolen, and if you didn't give them the right information, what were you hiding?
Right.
So the charge sheet is enough for me to indicate that you own the money, but beyond that, other pieces of evidence will be relevant in this matter to find out how you got the money, and that's what we are all asking for, a probe into the whole thing.
Okay. So let's read the charge sheet. Maybe Helen, you want to help us with what's there on the charges? 18 minutes after 80 on 3FM 92.7, and we're getting into these issues flowing out of the former sanitation minister, and the thefts at the home and all of that. We'll come into that and activate the phone lines for you to also have a chance to speak on the matter. But have you found it?
There's a lot in this platform. Okay. Give me your high-tech device. There we go. All right, this phone, dear, no size. It does state the amended charge sheets. The original, I'd be also quite curious to see what it contains. But this is the Republic versus one Patience Butchie, Sarah Ejay, Benjamin Soa, Kweku Butchie, and Malik Dauda. Statement of offense: conspiracy to commit crime, to wit, stealing, contrary to sections 23(1) and 1241 of the Criminal Offences Act of 1960, Act 29. Particulars of offense: Patience Butchie, age 18 years, hairdresser. Then we have 2, Sarah Ejay, 30 years, unemployed. Now, between the period of July and October 2022 at Abelengpe in the Greater Accra region and within the jurisdiction of this court, did agree or acted together with a common purpose to commit crime, to wit, stealing. That's Patience, 18 years old, Sarah Ejay, 30. Then we have count 2. That was count 1. Statement of offense: stealing, contrary to section 1241 of the Criminal Offences Act of 1960, Act 29. Particulars of offense: Patience Butchie, again 18 years, Sarah Ejay, 30 years, unemployed. We're told between the period of July and October 2022 at Abelengpe in the Greater Accra region and within the jurisdiction of this court, did honestly appropriate a cash sum of $1 million, the property of Cecilia Abena Dapa.
I see. The property of Cecilia Abena Dapa.
That's right.
Yeah. Is it done? It's not done. There's one more. There's one more of the charge sheet.
The page is floating. How do you operate this?
I'll find it for you. What kind of this thing is that?
Please. It's very high tech. If you are watching us, you see it's like a Bible.
I beg you, please.
All right.
This is propaganda.
The charge sheet goes on to say count 3, stealing, contrary to section 1241 of the Criminal Offences Act. Okay. And again, we have Patience Butchie, Sarah Ejay. Again, between the period of July and October 2022 at Abelengpe, did honestly appropriate a cash sum of 300,000 euros, the property of Cecilia Abena Dapa. Again, we have count 4, same persons, Patience Butchie, Sarah Ejay. Here again, did dishonestly appropriate a cash sum of 350,000 Ghana cedis. Again, the property of Cecilia Abena Dapa. Then we have count 5. Again, the persons involved, Patience Butchie, Sarah Ejay, did dishonestly appropriate assorted clothing valued at 95,000 Ghana cedis, assorted handbags valued at 35,000 US dollars, and high tech, please. last page of of the
I
charge.
think that's all that's available.
There we go. So some jewelry, some money again.
Money, suits.
Suits.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I was thinking about this angle that the government of the day, of which Madame Cecilia Abena-Dapaah until recently was part of, believes in education. At least that's the impression they give us. They tell us that they don't want any child of school-going age to be found loitering around and not in school. The information I have is that this 18-year-old Patience Botwe was way less than 18 at the time she started working with the Honorable Minister or former Honorable Minister.
Right.
What would make a cabinet minister engage the services of a minor as a house help? First, she's not supposed to be working at that age. Number two, she is supposed to be in school. Number three, as a minister who sits at the table of cabinet, something should have clicked her to say that you are too young, you're supposed to be in school. How can I, for example, find scholarship for you to go to school? Or why are you not in school? Or any other reason? The government is busy talking about TVET, not only free SHS, TVET and all of that.
That's right.
Didn't any of these click the minister? That this person is 17 years. This person is not 18. This person may have been younger than 17 when the person got in there. Didn't any of that sort click the minister?
And when you were doing the bites and you touched upon that, then it clicked in my mind, and I thought, we are so used to this that I didn't even avert my mind.
Yeah.
That now, well, we know the name, which I don't believe was supposed to be the case, because at the time of the crime, we're hearing that she was, as you say, way less than 18. So on that
because the
front,
matter was first taken to the juvenile court. That's
There you
my
have
understanding. And now it's at the circuit court.
a 17-year-old, maybe she would have been working there way before. I don't think anybody can deny us the perception of thinking that. I don't think she just came a year ago at the age of 17. Could have been there for much longer. And as a minister for a government that is pushing the education agenda, especially for persons at that age who should be enjoying the benefits of free SHS.
That's right.
But I'm sure she'll be more grateful to not be there, because they are not even eating. There's no food to eat. So why should she? Oh, there's no.
My God.
What is the incentive?
Yeah.
What is the incentive?
What is really the incentive?
What is the incentive?
Well, but it's school there they be.
Oh, they have to
You
go.
have to be in school.
They have to go.
But at the end of the day, I honestly think that it's good that we engage and also find answers as we travel along, not getting into the merits of the matter.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I do see on the charge sheet that they've put into bracket hairdressing. Was she doing that all along, or was she maybe?
My understanding is that at the time that she had come to, and that's where I said that they found out that these monies were being stolen by accident. By accident was because at the time that she had come back to take the last tranche of the cash, she was not working with the Honorable Minister and the family.
I see.
Right? That's the understanding I get. So she was not working there. She had come, she was opening the door, and she was seen. And that was what caught the attention, drew the attention. But you are not supposed to be here, so what are you doing here by my door? What are you...
So that is why at that time at 17 she was charged with unlawful entry.
That's right.
And the matter went before
A juvenile
court. That I think
But
makes,
then that raises a bigger question that, look, so you have so much money that even if 1 million is taken, it will take you forever to notice it.
Well, maybe it's money that she doesn't frequently touch. I mean, it's put somewhere for a specific purpose.
Put $1 million at home.
Say it was not for recurrent expenditure.
But is it supposed to be in circulation?
I'm just saying.
Is it supposed to be in circulation?
Which is circulation?
In
What
the
is
system?
what is circulation?
William, your money in your account, yours, mine, is with the bank. We know that it is sitting on paper, but in the actual fact, that money is circulating
Yes, but this
to
was
oil the wheels of the economy. If you have $1 million, 300,000 euros, and it is seated in your home, when your government is going around begging for dollars from IMF, World Bank, everybody, your government is implementing gold for oil to get dollars to be able to buy us cheaper oil, right? Your government is asking us, the citizens, if we have dollars, to take it to the banks so that our dollars can be in the system.
That's right.
And you, the minister who sat at the table at cabinet, to give us all of these things, plus haircuts that we did not ask for, you are keeping your money at home. 1 million euros, $1 million, 300,000 euros. There's a problem somewhere. That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying the money was stolen, because that's for the court to determine. I'm not saying that the money was ill-gotten. That's not my job. My job is to ask, why have I been told A and why is B happening? That's all I'm asking.
Even if I lose 50 cedis in my bedroom, I'll know, because the money
Maybe if you
is
take
so
10,
scarce.
10 pesos from my account, I'll get a text message. I'll call my bankers and ask them what they go on.
What's up? Where? I mean, and so I always use this phrase: you cannot deny the people the perception that this expedition of burden sharing is solely on the people. Because I've been sitting back all weekend analyzing this. $1 million US. I suppose for somebody who is wealthy and is in active business and sees that money often, it's not a big deal. But for me, from where I sit, knowing the type of economy that we are operating in, and you gave us a breakdown of how long it would take certain professions to come by that money. Because the impression is being created, I've seen in some quarters, that $1 million US is nothing, and that those who are marveled by it and are really thinking about the astronomical figures are just they're calling us haters.
See, nobody hates Cecilia Dapa.
Yeah,
I don't hate her. In fact, she's one of the few women in politics that I admire. Herself, there's another lady, MP Apiaje. She's usually on the appointments committee. I admire them. On the other side, I also admire a lot of women. But I'm saying that you are a public officer or public official. So you are a person of public interest.
that's right.
That is why you are made to declare your assets. That is why you are made to declare and come clean that this is what I have prior to coming into power. We know what your salaries are. We know what your allowances are. It's all in the public domain. We know what benefits accrue to you and what doesn't accrue to you. So if suddenly, after 4 years, you are leaving office and then you have more than what is expected, after your expenditure and everything, you have more, people must begin to ask questions. That's all people are doing. That we say the country is hard, that everything is tough, that we can't even find money to feed children, that even persons living with disability are starved, and all of that. And then somebody has $1 million sitting at home. It will be interesting to find out how did the money get into the home? Was it brought through the ports straight to the home? Which bank manager signed it off? Which vault was it kept in the vault at home? How was it stored? Because it is also somebody's legal tender. Okay, and money has to be protected, because if you mistreat money or abuse it or treat it anyhow, you could be arrested by the police.
That's right.
So how was it being stored and under what condition? There's a reason the banks create vaults and monies are stored in vaults. There are too many questions to be asked.
The ramifications of this go beyond. I've seen, as I mentioned, people online calling others haters for wanting to find out. I think for some people, the reasons why they should be concerned about this doesn't appear to be very apparent. They think it's an issue of, well, mind your business and all of that. No. This is not a mind your business sort of scenario, because this is not just any ordinary person. For me also, some of the implications go further than just the optics and, why should you keep physical cash at home? At the time when the government is gearing up for DDEP Part 2, come and give us your money so that we can debt restructure, so that we can see a way forward. We're not really making headway with our external creditors, so government is looking within. Is the minister saying that there is she and her family or the husband have distrust for our financial institutions?
Question I asked this morning.
Because I wouldn't even sleep with $1,000 under my pillow because it is not safe.
Yeah.
You work with others in the home. So what is she saying? Is she saying that because of what she saw, what the family saw for the DDEP and our financial situation, she thinks there's mistrust? And should the citizenry be looking to that and thinking, hey, if the minister of herself cannot trust, then let me advise myself and keep huge sums of money at home.
And again, it comes back to the Ajana 1, Ajana 2 conversation. The government says we have identified rot in the banking sector. Cecilia Abena-Dapaah sat at that cabinet table when that decision was taken to clean up the banks. Today, as a result of that, people are jobless. People have their monies locked up, right? People are in court fighting all of that. So a myriad of issues. If you claim you have cleaned up the banking sector and that it is robust and that depositors' funds are safe, how do you measure that or juxtapose that with you keeping $1 million and 300,000 euros at home? It doesn't add up.
No.
It doesn't add up. Number two, if I have $200, you have been able to convince me that I need to go and put my $200 in the system. And I have. Because you told me that the more I put my dollars in the system, the more the CD gains strength, because we don't have to go and borrow, because we already have the dollar, and that we have to import anything. We just pick the dollar that's here and go and toss it there, right? Now you are keeping your 1 million, and me, I've got to put my $200. It is not fair.
No.
And you see, the bottom line when people say, oh, you hate. It is our attitude towards unexplained wealth. We're in this country, we're number one cable. Number one. We woke up one morning, and he was already a self-made man, taking pictures with the president, going to sponsor GFA, Premier League, and all of those for signing big artists, 5 million here, this there, that there. It turned out, at the end of the day, that it wasn't what it actually is. Today, most of those people who told us about Nam1 have backtracked. They don't even want to be mentioned or associated with Nam1. The state is also pussyfooting in trying to finish whatever it is that it has to do with Nam1 so people can have closure. People's monies are stuck.
That's right.
People have died. People have died out of shock, surprise, disappointment. People have been maimed because of that. So if you have a certain condition, say liver, kidney, whatever it is, and you depend on dividends from your investment at Men's Gold, and they are not coming, and because of that you get a mouth stroke or whatever, you have been maimed. So the concept of unexplained wealth, and where suddenly somebody has money, say, oh yeah, bossu. I mean, I listen to some of the excuses being made, and I say, how can you tell me that maybe she has lands at East Legon that she sold?
And
So
on that one,
so
I'm
if
thinking.
you sold the lands at East Legon, what prevents you from taking the money to the bank?
And where was the tax man's card? Did you collect? How was the transaction made? Please, some of the explanations being preferred by the I absolutely cannot take it. Whilst investigations are ongoing, my simple advice as a citizen, daughter of Ghana, is that some of the communicators should give us a break. I'm hearing all sorts. There are discerning people listening to you in this country. There are investment bankers that are listening to you, professors, PhDs, the trotro drivers and mates who are also quick with. Listen, we are all discerning and we are living in this country and we are watching. I don't want to hear. I've heard all kinds of excuses. Please let the investigations go on, and those preferring, you are making the issue even worse for the average Ghanaian. We are wallowing in multi-dimensional poverty. I don't want to hear some of the excuses.
Bank of Ghana needs to be on this beat. IOCO needs to be on this beat. Financial intelligence needs to be on this beat. Office of the Special Prosecutor needs to be on this beat. CID has to be on this beat. You know why? We aren't saying that Madame Cecilia Abena-Dapaah stole the money, because now that's the going conversation. People think that she stole the money, she profited wrongly from government, blah blah blah. I've seen people share old videos of some water projects and the rest. It will be in her own interest to avail herself for this investigation to be completed, so that she's giving a clean bill of health, because she has served our country, whether you like it or not, in different capacities, from Kufuor 1 and 2 to Akufo-Addo 1 and 2, aviation minister here, sanitation minister there, and many others. She's been a member of parliament and all of that. So clearing her name is in her own interest. That's the first point. The second point is that the state institutions must not be seen to be picking and choosing. The state institutions, they must not be seen to be picking and choosing. Because I tell you what, if Helena Piampofo's name comes up, that she has 300,000 euros under her bed, and that somebody stole maybe 50,000 euros out of it. By now, you would have been invited to the OSP's office to come and tell them how you came by the 300,000 euros.
I'll be counting on both of you to be letting the people know that I've been bereaved, and that's how I got the money.
Johnny, I've been following this story, and one thing that I have concluded is the issue of power. You just mentioned that if it were him, if it were her, if it were you, this brings up the issue of power. And these individuals who hold state power, they hold a lot of connections. They attract a lot of money. And if you see the lifestyles that these individuals lead, people have been able to draw certain circles: the religious circle, the political circle, the media circle, and, if you like, the business circle. So some people look at how they can enter all those 4 circles at all times of their lives, and they make money without doing any business.
That's
We're
right.
here when we heard that people were even influence peddling and making $20,000 per one move.
Gate fee.
You see, so if we are looking at some of these stories, and if I'm that powerful and I lose my father, I spoke to a big man who said, look, all the chains of shops I have at Kaneshi, like 4, 5, 6 of them, I financed them when I had my father's funeral and the donations that I got. No, you won't believe it.
Yeah, you won't believe it. But
Last week also, I saw a certain funeral on social media.
with the billboards and things.
No, and the squad that I saw at the funeral when they were greeting. You understand what I'm saying? And all these discussions that we are having, it is a matter of power and how the state agencies are able to control those who have the power and how that power moves the state funds. Because look, if a contract of $43,000, $43 million,
$3 million, yes.
that contract drops, how much of it will go into power pockets? And that's a fact.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Some of them are holding this money in banks. Look, after an election, if Party A loses power, the day that the final announcement of the results is made, and the time that they check out, that's 7th January. If you look at the movement of cash, transaction moves in banks.
Charlie, moving to safety.
No, you see, because at the end of the day, they know that they are exiting and they have to mop up and so on and so forth. And that's why you look at some people, they are comfortable not because they are smarter than you and I, but because they were born into power.
Yeah,
The name that they carry,
They are connected.
this name, Dapa, there was a certain funeral maybe a month or so ago, and that's why people are speculating that the money might have come from the how do you call it, donations here and there. The name Dapa, what is the connection behind, and why would people come and donate such, and why people have funerals and they bring the banks to the funeral? It's not everybody who can have a funeral and bring the bank there. Have you seen those banks?
They actually come and
They
set
come
their
and set
tents.
up, yes.
Masa.
And
So-
they are collecting the
discussion we are
the
having,
donations.
we shouldn't be emotional about it at all. We should go and investigate, and I'm happy that she has called for that investigation herself. But she wants that investigation to go on to exonerate her name.
But William, you called for an investigation. The president of the republic, a lawyer, has again, in my opinion, made another prejudicial comment in the letter accepting the resignation of Cecilia Abena-Dapaah, Miss. Now says he is sure that the woman will come out unscathed.
Well, you see, the president is first of all a party person before he became president. This is a woman who has been very instrumental in his government. So the woman went to complain and now she stands accused. I'm not holding brief for the president, but maybe the president is just commiserating with
He
the woman.
wrote on the presidential letterhead.
No, what I'm saying to
The
you is
president
that
needs to draw the line.
I understand.
When to be a party
you see,
president, when to be.
I'm not. You see, sometimes
More so when he's a lawyer.
I'm trying to explain rather than justify what the president has done. You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to explain what the president did or has done rather than justify. I'm saying that, well, that is the relationship that they have. So maybe that's why he wrote it that way. But the president is not going to be the special prosecutor. The president is not going to be the attorney general.
Doesn't his utterance or what he has written put pressure? And again, I'm referring to Asin North. whether we like it or not, the president put some pressure on the judiciary. Now everybody will be watching to see the outcome of that particular case, Chachi Christian's case. Now this is a matter involving 1 million, blah blah blah. You know, the president in the past has been tagged clearing agent.
Oh, that issue has come up again.
Good.
And I'm saying
so now, I don't know, but if I were the president, this is not the state, I would have just written a straight thing. Mind you, the letter that Cecilia Abena-Dapaah wrote to resign, the last one says, "My dear."
That's the. You see, you have just come to confirm what I'm saying.
No, you see,
we are playing.
You see,
around
you see,
the relationship that they
relax,
have.
William. The woman
Because you cannot write to your president a resignation letter to your president and put "my dear" inside that letter.
William.
And I'm not justifying that one too. I'm just trying to explain.
Saying
you
that.
know what I'm saying?
William,
You saw the "my dear" there.
I saw it, but it was on a Cecilia Abena-Dapaah letterhead.
Yes.
What the president wrote in response was on a Jubilee House Republic Office of the President letterhead. There are two different things.
I agree.
So if I am writing to you on a John Hughes letterhead to Helen, I can write "Dear Helen." I finish, I say, "Oh, my prophylactic." But if I'm writing on a Media General letterhead to Helen, I cannot put prophylactic inside. The president needs to draw the line and stop playing. He's playing too much.
Well, I am still on the point of the relationship that the two individuals have, and that's why you
that I don't doubt.
And that's why that kind of conversation came up. And I'm saying that doesn't clear anybody from whatever is wrong or right. What I'm saying is that the state institutions must be as strong as they should be, and not just rely on what the president says or he doesn't say. That's how we can grow our democracy. So we are looking at the state institutions stepping in, because if you are a state official, you're a public servant, you're a politician, politically exposed, you have got $1 million in your account. It is just pure and simple that it must be investigated. Because before you got into office, there's a certain law that says that you should declare your assets.
That's right.
So when you have declared that assets, those assets against this 1 million, we need to find out whether it belongs to you, whether it's funeral donation, whether it's your brother's money, whether it's your husband's money. Then the investigation will also move to them. How did you get that money? But sitting here, I also want to put on record that we have to be careful the way we handle people's money. Because we have a certain history where people had money and so they were hounded, and some of them were pushed out. Their businesses collapsed and stuff like that. That's why I want the state institutions to work. Because during the military era, people were just condemned just because they had money.
Absolutely.
And some have said that, look, capitalism without socialism is communism. Because that's why people also believe in social democracy, where although there's capitalism, they also take care of the poor. You know, recently the Democrats were having problems in the US because the Republicans were saying that we were trying to introduce socialism in the US capital. Right. MPP is saying that they are property owning democracy. That's what they are pushing. So she owns 1 million cities. But the same law that brought MPP into power is saying that declare your assets if there are issues.
The money was gotten.
Exactly.
And for me, that's why, look, I agree with you, and I've made that point before. Yoko, all the institutions should be interested in this one. However, the president's comment, for me, is prejudicial and puts unnecessary pressure on all of them.
I'm going to call that the president's house style.
But is it helping us?
Well, I've come to accept it, so I am not surprised. I don't put much weight on that.
That's why,
and as William says, we allow the institutions to do their work, because now I see that is the house style. So moving forward, I'm not even going to be surprised.
You see, each time a matter of corruption or suspected corruption or corruption-related activities has happened, and the president goes ahead to make a prejudicial comment, we know the outcome. Pius Hajide and the Australian visa fraud. What has happened? Asenso Boache and Abu Jinapo gate fee saga at the presidency. What happened? Kweku Ajimamenu Sputnik V's Chobo. What has happened? I can give you a plethora of, look, Ministry of Cash for Seats. The president always has a way of making certain statements preceding the conclusion of the investigation And for some strange reason, the conclusion tend to reflect on the pre-statement that had been made by the president. And I'm saying that has wiped away the tag of incorruptible Nana Akufo-Addo. Now giving credit to Martin Amidu's mother serpent of all corruption. And it is not good for him. It may be just perception. But to the end that he continues to make those things, he puts friendship ahead of being diligent and disciplined in that direction. It's problematic.
I have to agree with Johnny on that.
A President Kufuor will not do that. A President Mills will not do that. A President Mahama will not do that. A President Rawlings will not do that. They all have had friends before. Why does it look like President Akufo-Addo's friendship takes center stage in most of the things he does? A minister has gone to do procurement. It is wrong. Without cabinet and parliamentary approval, he goes to the minister's hometown with the minister and he says the minister is the most vilified, and people are asking that he be sacked, and he thinks that the minister is doing perfect job and he leaves him. And we are seeing how our health sector is going. The president is playing too much.
I guess it is in your favor to be friends with the president. He said at Ase North himself that if James Chachi Kwesi were to win, he wouldn't be able to come to him to work with him. So it appears, it's good to be in close quarters, because Adwo Safo was off work for almost a year. Yeah. I can do that as the host of Morning Sunrise. Yeah. 1 week, 2 weeks, I'm out of here. But she said the president knows of her challenges. Yeah. It's good to be buddy with the president.
And even with that, Adwo Safo, you remember the 124,000, whether it's dollars or cedis, that Kennedy Japan himself said on Asasi Radio that he was giving from the office of the chief of staff, which is within the office of the president, to go and give to Adwo Safo, whether it is appearance fee, gate fee, compensation fee, I beg you fee, whatever fee. He said it himself. They took it there. Then the man added that the chief of staff went in a convoy, motorcade, with our fuel, our vehicles, everything, time, energy, went to knock on Adwo Safo's door. She didn't mind. What did the president do? Adwo Safo just had to come back and resign. That's all.
You see?
So when you look at all these things, sorry, William, when you look at all these things, it doesn't give you an impression that the president perhaps is interested in fighting corruption. If you are close to him and something happens, you say, oh, feel free. You write a letter, and then you say, oh, you are confident that the woman will come out clean.
That confidence, well, as I said, I can explain. It's because of the relationship. But look, if we center all these corruption and corruption-related issues on the acts, the action and inaction of the president, then, as Obama said, we are not building strong institutions. And I'm expecting this morning to hear all those institutions that must act, especially the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Look, we have to investigate this matter, so we are going to take it up. Then the conversation around the president will lie, because for me, as lawyer Martin Kpebu said, sometimes we think that the president has checked out. He's checked out, and sometimes it's normal. We all work. We've all seen how pensioners, when they have a few years or few days to exit,
we call it agbajin.
So we've seen that, and I would want us to concentrate on the institutions that deal with this thing, because this matter for me is a very simple matter. We found such huge sums of money in the hands of a politician, and there are laws on how politically exposed people should be handled. Because if you're a politically exposed person, there are some things you cannot do in this country. The laws are there.
That's right.
So what I'm saying, that even if you go to a bank, you have all the money and you are withdrawing all your millions, the bank will advise you that this thing you're doing is risky. But the bank cannot stop you from taking the money into your house.
In fact,
you have to go through the process. If you're able to show that, for instance, you're going to take 10,000 to travel, you show evidence that you're going to travel, you take your money, when you get to the airport, you are not supposed to hold more than 10,000 cedis.
That's right.
But even that, I cannot sit here and say that Ghanaians don't keep or don't push millions across our borders, because there's the possibility, I don't have the evidence, that they could be paying some hundreds or thousands of dollars and moving millions. That's a fact that we can establish if we investigate.
Right.
That's right.
So I'm saying that the investigation, what this thing has brought up is how our foreign currencies or foreign exchange is handled in Ghana.
Right.
The bigger conversation should be that, so that we will not have so much pressure on the city when some of these things are happening. Was the money carried through the unapproved routes along our borders? Did they come through the normal airport situation? Did they come through the Bank of Ghana? Because there are some amounts that you have to put through the Bank of Ghana.
But you see, that's the question I asked earlier. That how did the money move from wherever
Point
to the
A
home?
to point B.
Did it come through the port? And you see, I spoke with some bankers. They tell me that there's a certain quantum of cash. As soon as it moves from one place to the other,
Red flags are raised.
red flags. The financial intelligence people will start asking questions. Who is that? What is it being moved for? What? Because money laundering is a serious matter. So all those who say, "Oh, she is already rich," were we not told that President Akufo-Addo is an already made man, and that he's coming to help us? Was that not what was? Oh no, when is that? Obabe Boyen. That was what we were told. Waboying. They told us that the president, he has everything. And at this age, he doesn't even need money. It was the campaign that was waged in 2016.
That's right.
Fast forward to 2023. Has the president helped us? Has his already made man helped us? Or has he not helped us? It's a question that Ghanaians would answer. It's a very big question that Ghanaians must answer. And what is in the name Dapa? The Cecilia Dapa now.
It is about the power thing I spoke about.
There was Kandapa. And then there was Cynthia Dapa at FDA. What is in the name Dapa?
Chief, you see, all those things come into play, but those arguments you cannot push. The only one that we can push is the legal argument.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say that there's a Foreign Exchange Act in this country.
Right.
Of 2006 Act 723. There's a way foreign exchange is handled in this country. And it is backed by law. So if you have such huge sums of forex in your hands or even in your account, laws,
you know the interesting thing. I'm happy you mentioned this one. The Bank of Ghana not so long ago with the police. Do you remember they embarked on an Abochi chasing spree?
Yes.
They arrested 79 Abochi Atudu, black market people. 79 of them. They made scapegoat out of them. I can tell you on authority, the monies that were retrieved from those guys, as was captured in the news, if you put all together, it will not be up to a half of what the minister had under her bed. Question, where is the Bank of Ghana in all of this?
The Bank of Ghana, we expect to also make some comments on this because, you see, the way, as I keep saying, the way we handle foreign exchange in this country puts pressure on the system. Because now we need more of that to chase. And all that we are exporting, we are not exporting to make any money. We are just exporting raw material.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And our city is getting weaker and weaker. And people have dollars, euros
Let's take a break.
in their accounts.
Let's take a break. When we return, we'll have some more conversation and then we'll